What's going on, guys? Today we're talking about what's in my camera bag for 2024. Now, it's actually been a minute since I've made one of these types of videos, but a ton has changed with what I carry with me in my camera bag and really just the gear that I use overall. But today is actually a perfect opportunity for me to share with you guys what has changed in my bag for two main reasons. One, I'm actually leaving on a trip tomorrow. I'm actually headed off to Sony Camera Camp for my second year in a row, so extremely excited for that, which you guys will see more on here very soon. But then number two, I actually just got a brand new camera bag and I just got it set up and packed it for this trip. So obviously I gotta share all the details with you guys. Now, since this is kind of a travel edition video, not only am I gonna cover what's in my backpack, which is the DB Ramverk Pro. This is the blackout colorway, which inside of it, we have the Ramverk camera insert, which we'll talk about both these here in a second. But I figured it kind of only makes sense to talk about what's in my carry-on as well. This is the DB Ramverk carry-on. We'll talk more about the carry-on here at the end. And you know what? I just realized I meant to ask you guys at the start of this video to drop a thumbs up, make sure you're subscribed to the channel because we are on the road to hitting 100,000 subscribers, which is just insane. So if you wouldn't mind doing that real quick, it helps me out a ton. Actually, I'll give you guys a second to do that. Little ghost energy. All right, let's get this thing started. So real quick before we dive into what's actually inside the camera bag, I gotta give a quick overview on why I love this bag so much. As you can see, this side, the front, even on the other side, you have straps everywhere, which makes it really easy to clip on different things you want. Maybe it's a hat, maybe it's headphones. You have a really nice handle up top. As you can see, it doesn't tip over on its own, which is always really nice to have a camera bag like that. Has really comfortable straps on it. You got a spot for a water bottle on the side or maybe a tripod. And then we'll touch on what's inside of this here in a second, but it does have a nice big kind of easy access pocket on the top here, which is perfect for when you're traveling on an airplane, at a coffee shop, and you just want to be able to grab stuff quickly out of there. Also, in my experience, it's nice to have a camera bag that doesn't scream, hey, look, I have a giant camera bag with thousands of dollars worth of gear on my back. One, obviously for safety, but two, and arguably more important to me, looks wise. I mean, come on, this bag looks amazing, which is always a huge plus. Once you get to the inside here, you actually have the Ramverk camera insert, which what that means is you can then just take the insert out and you have a normal backpack. This trip for myself is a perfect example. I went to get to my destination with all my camera and tech gear, but then there might be an afternoon or an event or whatever where I want just a normal backpack. So this allows me to have my camera bag with everything that I need, as well as be able to pull that insert out and just have a normal backpack, which comes in clutch all the time. So I absolutely love this combo. So now that we got this open, I wanna walk you guys through every piece of tech and camera gear that I carry along with me. And this is quite a bit of stuff, so I'm gonna try to move through it fairly quickly, but I will link everything down in the description below if you wanna check any of them out for yourself. But everything is so organized and fit in here so nicely. I love it. And if you're a nerd like me, I know you get it. So let's just start on this side, all right? So what's nice about this camera bag as well is it has a few different slots up here. And then also the compartment for your laptop is right up here. So right now, I have a 16-inch MacBook Pro. For the sake of this video, I just have another laptop in here so you guys can see it, but it does fit a 16-inch MacBook, no problem at all. What I will be having with me is my M3 Max MacBook Pro that's plugged into my monitors back here. That thing is an absolute beast and it handles all my creative and business needs. I spec'd it out a ridiculous amount, so it is still going plenty strong for me. So obviously that's a necessity when I'm out on the go. Moving on, in this top compartment here, I have a memory card holder. You can put your SD cards or whatever else right inside. And then I believe this actually makes it watertight, so you're not getting debris or water, whatever inside of this. Make sure your cards are secure. Had to throw a little lab culture sticker on the back. And so obviously you gotta carry SD cards with you. That's a necessity. Now this is a Samsung SSD. This is the T9. It's extremely fast. This is actually a 4 terabyte version. So if you do any sort of photo or video work, any sort of content creation, you're gonna have an SSD with you, and this is the one that I carry with me. So that can go back up there. And then lastly, in this top pocket, we have my iPad mini. Now I've talked about the iPad mini a ton of times within my content, and I love this thing, particularly because of the size of it. This is a perfect example. I can slide it in my camera bag bag without adding much weight at all and not taking up any extra room in my bag, which, as you guys can tell, this thing is packed. So that's really important to me. I use this a lot to keep myself organized. It has my to-do list, my shot list, different talking points for different videos, or maybe I'm just consuming content. So the iPad mini, I can slide it in, no problem. So it's in my bag. So to make just a little bit more room on this table here, I'm actually gonna take the insert out to show you guys what's all inside of it. And actually another nice feature I forgot to mention on here is that it comes with a lid that you can either zip on to have everything secured by itself, or you can zip it off to have a little bit extra room like I have it in my bag. And even this has extra storage on the top, but that's really nice to have kind of that option. Now the main piece that's in my camera bag is actually what I'm filming on right now, which is the Sony FX3. I have a ton of FX3 content on my channel if you guys want to hear some more thoughts about it from me, but I'll keep it short and sweet. It's my favorite camera of all time, and it's my main workhorse for pretty much all the content that you see. Anything video, horizontal, vertical, the image out of it looks amazing. It's so good in low light. It's still really good for photos as well. And all the attachment points make it great for shooting vertical content as well. You never have to worry about it overheating. So the FX3, my main workhorse, it lives right there. And then on it is also the lens I'm filming on, which is the Sony 16-35 f2.8 Generation 1. For me and my style and my workflow, it's my favorite lens out there. The 16-35, it makes it really versatile. And I just personally am a fan of wider angles, or again, for vertical content, the 16 is really, really nice. So at some point I want to upgrade to that Generation 2, but for now, this one's great. It's still amazing. And truthfully, no complaints. And actually one thing I can show you is I always rock a Pro Mist filter. Right now, this is just a Tiffin 1/8 Pro Mist. So I always have this or the Short Stash Everyday filter on my camera at pretty much all times. I just like the look of a Pro Mist. Kind of blooms those highlights, softens your skin a little bit. It kind of gives you a less digital look, in my opinion. Let me screw this back on. Sorry, guys. Now over here is actually the only other Sony lens that I carry with me, at least right now. And this is the Sony 11mm 1.8 lens, as you can see right there. Now, first of all, this thing is tiny, so it's awesome. And this is actually intended for a cropped sensor camera, which is actually a stylistic choice for me to throw it on full frame camera. I actually like the vignette that it gets. So this is just kind of a unique, fun lens to have with me when I want those stylistic shots. It's really small in the camera bag, but it still has autofocus, which is honestly hard to find. So sometimes I'm rocking this and I love the way it looks. I guess at this point, I'll just kind of move around what else is in here. I have a dual battery charger from a brand called Newer. I got 2 extra Sony batteries in here. That way I can charge 2 batteries at once. It also just kind of makes it easy to travel that way. So those go right over there. This right here is my absolute favorite microphone out on the market. This is the Sony ECM M1, and I could make a whole video about this microphone. You don't have to plug it in. It does everything digitally through the hot shoe. You don't have to charge it either. And then it has a ton of different audio settings on the back, as you guys can see right here. So you can have crispy sounding audio for whatever direction you're shooting your camera. If you're talking in front of the camera, if you're talking behind the camera, if you're talking behind and forward at once with maybe another subject. And it has an auto setting with a built-in dead cat. I mean, I could go on forever, but this is my favorite microphone. It's not cheap at all, but it is well worth the money if you're in the content space. So that lives right there. Next up, you gotta have a microfiber cloth if you're doing anything with screens or lenses. I'm sure you guys know that, but that is going to live right over there. And every inch of this bag is really thought out to make sure I'm kind of utilizing everything. Over here, now this is actually the carrying case for the DJI Mic 2s, and I love these things. I'm sure you guys have seen other creators use them and talk about them before, but I love that it comes with a really nice carrying case. It makes it really easy to travel. You can keep everything, including the accessories, together in one spot. So I'm sure you guys know what these lav mics are, but this right now is my choice just because it's in one small package. I can throw it in my bag and now I have everything together. Also, the mics sound amazing too. Now, beside that, I actually have this, which is just a little camera tool by Small Rig. Something like this is just essential to have on you, especially for trips like this. You never know when you need to screw on a plate or fix something on your tripod, whatever it is, this is essential to have with you when you're doing anything with camera gear. And it doesn't take up much room. And then underneath that, again, because I'm utilizing all my space, this is a large power bank from Anker. I think this one is 20,000 milliamps. So it's nice because it's large, but it's still thin, so it can fit in like weird spaces like this. But obviously when you're traveling with a bunch of tech like this, you want to make sure you can have something charged up quickly if you need to, especially on the go. So a power brick, no brainer to have with you. Next up is the the Fujifilm X100VI. Now I feel like this camera needs no introduction, and again, a bunch of content on my channel based around this camera. But for me, this is my fun point and shoot camera that I use strictly for photos. I have the wide angle adapter on here that converts the 35mm lens more to a 28mm. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm a fan of wide angles, so that's a must for me. And then the filter on it is that Short Stash Polar Pro Everyday filter. I absolutely love that filter. It just looks so good on this camera. But the X100VI is probably the hottest and the hardest to get camera right now on the market, and it's for a good reason. So love this thing. I take it everywhere with me. Even if I'm just going out downtown Chicago for coffee, this thing is a must. And it fits perfectly right in there. Moving on, I have this Marshall Bluetooth speaker. I think I've mentioned this in some of my past videos before too, but whether you're doing a photo shoot or just hanging out in your hotel room, it's always nice to be able to throw on some music that's louder and sounds better than just your phone. And this one actually sounds great, and it's still small enough I can fit it pretty much anywhere in my bag, so this always stays with me. Got some green gaff tape. Again, you never know when you're gonna need something like this. Doesn't take up much room, so gonna throw it in my bag if I can. Then underneath it, this is actually a new pickup, which I haven't really talked about much at all yet. Some of you may already know what this is. So this is the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, and truthfully, I just picked this thing up, so I haven't even made any content on it yet, but enough of my friends in the content creation space have reviewed this and talked so highly about it. I wanted to pick one up for myself and test it out, and out of the little bit that I've filmed so far, I've been a huge fan of it. The image out of it looks amazing. You can attach it to those DJI mics so you have crispy sounding audio, and it's so small. This seems like an amazing tool for creators. Again, I need to test it out more before I put my stamp of approval on it, but based on all my friends that I trust their judgment, yeah, this thing seems like an absolute beast of a camera. And it doesn't take up too much room, so if I can, I'm gonna have it in my bag, and it goes right there. And those go back on top, just like that. The lens I already talked about over there, and then last but not least in here, I have my MacBook charger. Kind of goes without saying why I have this, but slide that right back in there. And that's pretty much what goes in the camera insert. So let's go ahead and throw that back in here. And then I cannot forget about arguably the most important slot, which is that top slot. So let me show you guys what I carry in there for kind of my quick access, easy to get things. Sunglasses from a brand called Tins. They're actually made by photographers and I love them. Hand sanitizer because people are gross. If you remember that, you're a real one. I usually carry just a travel size Advil with me. You never know when you're gonna need something like this. Obviously, when you're traveling, you gotta always have your wallet on you for your ID, credit cards, cash, whatever. I mean, you know what's in your wallet, okay? But let me tell you what, if you don't have a Costco card in there, I feel sorry for you. But wallet, essential. This is something I always keep on me. These are a couple hydration sticks from Ghost. Traveling, especially flying, is one of the most dehydrating things you can do. Or maybe it's just after a long shoot day or you hit the gym, whatever. It's just nice to have one of these hydration sticks on you. So I usually always have a few of those. And then still, I know this is actually a pretty big pocket here. I carry a couple pairs of headphones with me. I got my AirPods Pro Generation 2. I talk about AirPods all the time, but these are what I use I would say 90% of the time, listening to music, podcasts, talking on the phone, even video editing sometimes, I'm rocking the AirPods. And then these are the Beats Fit Pro. I picked these up recently and I love them, especially for running or working out. They fit in your ear and stay in your ear so good. So pick them up in a Volt colorway. And these are truly for when I'm working out, and that's pretty much the only time I use them. Although they are pretty good for phone calls too. The audio actually sounds good. And then last but not least up here is just another power bank from Anker. And this is actually my favorite power bank, which is a very nerdy thing to say, but my favorite power bank, because like that other one, this is a 20,000 milliamp size. So this is gonna be able to charge your iPhone like 4+ times. And it actually has a built-in USB-C cable. So you can use your own cord to plug in something or just use this built-in one. So for myself, since my iPhone is USB-C, and honestly, I think pretty much every piece of tech in this bag is USB-C, I can use this without needing an additional cord to charge all of my stuff. And it even has a little mini screen that shows you what percentage this has left. And then obviously had to throw a couple Lab Culture stickers on there. And yeah, that's what I keep in here, which is actually a really big slot, which is nice. Earlier, I mentioned those different straps on the bag itself, which I use just for various things depending, but a lot of times I'll throw on a pair of my Beats Studio Pros. These right here are my absolute favorite. These are the Stussy Collab, which I absolutely love this colorway, and these were insanely hard to get, so I'm so stoked I got my hands on them. But especially when I'm traveling on a long flight, I like to have some over-the-ear headphones for noise canceling, and I will just kind of strap them to the outside, so I have these for easy access when going through the airport or when I get to my seat on the airplane. So I might throw that on the side, and then a mandatory must for me all the time is always carrying an extra hat or two with me. So I usually will just put it right on the side right there. I might have 1 or 2 extra hats with me, again, because you guys know I'm just a huge hat guy. And I know you guys have seen these hats in my content. I got this one, and even another 1 or 2. And I've been getting a lot of questions lately about if you guys can pick one up for yourself. And I think I have some pretty cool news for you guys. So stay tuned for more info on that soon, but definitely let me know down in the comments below if you guys would be interested in a Lab Culture hat or not. It's been a long time waiting to say that. Now, to keep the travel theme going here, I want to briefly talk about my carry-on luggage as well. This is the DB Ramberg Pro carry-on, and I mean, just look at this thing. It is sick. You got the wheels that are ultra silent. You got the TSA lock on the side to keep everything nice and secure. You got a really nice handle on the side as well. And personally, I'm just a huge fan of how this thing looks, especially next to the backpack as well. Now, quickly, I'm going to show you guys what's inside. So once you open it up, you actually have a bunch of different compartments that keeps things kind of nice and organized. You actually have a laptop sleeve right in here, so in case you want to throw your laptop in here, or like myself, sometimes I have to travel with 2. This is really nice. Got a couple outside pockets right here. I just have a couple pairs of boxers and socks on the outside. And then let's go ahead and unzip this here to see what's inside. Open that up. I've got a few pairs of shorts. I have a shoe bag in here, which if you guys know me, come on now. It's really hard to do this with one hand, but gotta have some shoes on me, of course. These are the new Travis Scott Canary Yellow colorway. I love these, perfect summer shoe. So you guys already know I gotta have at least 1 extra pair of shoes with me at all times. And then on the other side, let's go ahead and open this up. I got pants, cargos, a bunch of different t-shirts in here, and then toiletry bag, of course. And yeah, that's pretty much what all I keep in a small little quick trip carry-on. And I love how this bag keeps it nice and easy to organize, and also still looks really good as well. All right guys, so that is what's in my camera bag for 2024. This is always kind of a changing and evolving thing for really any of us that are in the content creation space. But this, as of right now, is what I'm actually taking with me on this next trip. And I think it's gonna do the job, and I think it's gonna do it really well. Now, as I mentioned, everything that I talked about in today's video will be linked down in the description below. So if you guys wanna check out any of these things for yourself, and I'll be sure to link the DB products down there as well. The Ramberg backpack, camera inserts, and also the carry-on. I'm stoked to use those this coming week, and I know you guys would enjoy them too. So that's gonna be it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Drop me any questions you got down below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace. Whew.